What?
Jaw drop.
Actually, I was gonna address it right now, so let's just start.
Okay, go on.
Uh, Hello guys, welcome to the first ever podcast of this series. Issue is I don't have a name for the series yet because Aziz he messaged me a few days ago and he's saying he wants to be a part of this too.
How does he want to be a part of it?
So that's what I'm
As a host.
as a co-host,
Host.
but we're trying to make it logistically work. So if it's like a joint venture, then I need to come up with another brand for this.
Who's Aziz partner?
My cousin in US. What's up?
Hi Aziz.
Hey man, what's up? Long
Yeah.
time no see.
It's okay, bro. You don't need to address him. This is his
Oh,
lecture.
but it's my first time too, you know?
Yeah.
Doing a podcast.
I mean, I guess we're all podcast virgins at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But
and real life version, right?
inshallah. But okay, I guess the thing in common that the first few guests have is that they're trying to fight the nepotism within their family. They don't want to get into the family business for some reason. So I just want to know what happened to you guys. Why don't you want to join your dad, anyone in the family? Anyone can.
I mean, it was never pressurized onto me to join the family business. Because in some sense that it didn't feel like it was sustainable. You know, if I took it, and it wasn't something different. It wasn't something I was interested in. 'Cause
Why weren't you interested?
I don't know. I mean, it never is because even when I did my bachelor's, business was never in my mind. I was never someone who wanted to go into business directly. I wanted to, find a field that I wanted to work in, which I enjoyed.
Wait, what do you mean by business? Like your family business or
No,
like
any like
the subject of like.
this, as in getting into something that I started on my own. Like it was never the first thing in my head back then. And then when uni ended and I wasn't able to find a placement, it was about 5-6 months before I joined Vegitech, where Hatem was working. But in those few months, I was, because I wasn't again happy with the bachelor's I did. I wasn't happy with mechanical engineering in the sense that I knew that I wouldn't be able to work as a mechanical engineer in the technical field.
Okay.
Right. At that point, I realized, okay, the technical field is not for me. I like mechanical engineering as a course.
Wait, so is there no scope for that in Dubai? For mechanical engineers?
No, of course there is, but again, it becomes difficult now because now you have to specialize. That's what I feel. You have to specialize, you have to know, because mechanical engineering is a vast field.
Is it like a jack of all?
Yeah, it is. Mechanical is that because there's so much there. There's heat transfer, thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, dynamics. And I didn't know which one I wanted to pick. I didn't know which one I wanted to get into because I wasn't sure which one I would enjoy the most.
And for the record, what does your dad do? For
He
anyone
has-
who doesn't know you.
He has a trading business of hardware and building materials, mostly importing. So he imports wire nails, shade nets, a lot of furniture fittings now.
I mean, if you want to plug your dad, you can say the name, company name, where he's located. Just
It's
go ahead.
located-
This is your platform.
It's located in Banias, Dera. Company name is New Bombay Excellent Trading. So we do mostly import work. So if it's a big quantity and it's something
From China?
From China, from India, mostly PC domains.
Are you the same? Do you fall in the same line? Or?
Same but a bit different.
Also, did you figure out your passion for your field right away? How do you fall into that?
Hell no. It is like a journey getting to where I am in terms of. So see, when I was thinking about starting a business, right? Or not starting a business, but creating a business of my own. So the one reason why not hardware is because, for lack of a better word, it's not sexy. Right? That apart, like running a business and having an idea are two different things.
Okay.
Sexy is just a word I use, but the other word
I'm
is
wondering
not-
if you're turned on by plants. Okay, fine.
I'm actually funny enough, Muthu cares more about plants than I do.
And he's a newbie in the field.
No, even I'm a newbie in plants.
But you've had more experience than you,
I
right?
think let me divide our business, what we do, into two parts first. So one is
Also, what is your business called? For
Okay.
for the record?
for the record, it's Grow Hub.
Grow Hub.
So
GRO
WHUB.
dot AE.
Dot
.e. That's nice. So I would divide it into two parts. My own business, know-how. One is into plants and landscapes, where we do ornamental designing of areas. It might be vertical walls, it might be sometimes artificial paneling board, and all of that, all of those kind of things in one side. And then the other side is farms and ag tech.
Ag tech.
Ag tech. So where we build farms for customers.
Like hydroponic farms.
Yeah,
Or vertical farms.
We try to be agnostic of the technology that goes into play. Vertical farms and hydroponic farms need a certain type of expertise that's there, and we can provide it because we have experience in this field. But we'd rather be product based. Like if a customer comes to us and he's saying he wants to grow tomato that's organic, we will give them a organic farm that grows tomato with the best possible technology available to grow that product.
I have a question. So Murza once told me like the word organic is fake.
Oh.
Like what does it mean to be organic in today's market?
This is like a whole, we can have a 2-hour podcast on this.
I don't mind. Bro, they're free, they're also better to do.
So the word organic means nothing. So before 1950s, before the Green Revolution, every crop that was grown was organically grown because the fertilizers were not there. There was not crossbreeding of seeds. Because of this advanced technology, the Green Revolution, the first Green Revolution.
In the 50s.
In the 50s, yeah. Actually, seeds was in the 40s and the 30s, but then this with the use of pesticides and there was this fear in the 1970s and 80s that we would run out of food for the population. It was like a massive hysteria, right? We should stop the population boom because there won't be food enough for anyone. But because of the use of these pesticides, proper use, there are good cases where it's overused, but with the use of fertilizers, nitrogen that we put in the soil, only then we have been able to create the food to feed the 8 billion plus population currently. So the word organic means crop. How it was grown before the 1950s is romanticized as if it was it is
The ideal
Completely
model.
natural.
but
So it's not the ideal model.
yeah, you go back 100 years, 200 years. You go to a farm labor in China who's in rice paddies, knee deep in muddled water, and tell them, would you rather work here in the field paddy whole day, 15 hours a day in the sun, in this middle of thing, or would you work in a factory,
In a
A
clean
food-
factory,
in a
AC.
tea factory on an assembly line? So both works are not very attractive, but the guy would choose to work in a factory, in an air-conditioned factory, repeating the same task. It might not be fulfilling, but it is a much less harsher life.
Okay. I mean, back to your
Yeah.
why you chose this thing in the first place.
Oh, okay. See, the tangents will keep on running. So there are two. I'm also not sure. One was I read this very interesting book about the 21st century. Yuval Noah Harari. Everyone knows.
What is it?
Yuval Noah Harari.
Yuval Noah Harari.
Yeah. So there are 21 problems for the 21st century. That's the name of the book. It's a very famous author. He has written Homo Sapiens. Have you read that?
I'm very illiterate, sorry. I don't read books.
Yeah.
So
There's a theory, if the book is that good, it's made into a movie, and if there's a movie, why watch a book? Why read a book?
It's what if it's not fiction?
I'm gonna check this up for the grants for the grant. Yeah, but yeah.
So the book, there were three major issues. Okay, one was technology revolution, like technology, like like the hype happening, like AI and replacing human jobs. Second was environmental disaster, climate change, and third was nuclear war. So these are the three major arching issues.
Okay.
We can't do much about nuclear war unless we want to get into politics. That's a whole different topic. So what remains is climate change and technology. And agriculture happens to be a field in which technology and climate change play a massive role because the greenhouse emissions, or you may not know, about 20% of it is from the agriculture sector because of the use of fertilizers and
Is that
pesticides.
it?
20% of all greenhouse emissions is due to 24% I believe is due to agriculture.
Okay.
So it's cows farting.
They are the biggest reasons. Cows,
Yeah.
I watched a documentary, the Cowspiracy.
Yes.
methane.
So,
Methane.
They,
So one reason was that because I felt like agriculture is a field where technology is taking its own time to get into, and where there's disruption, where there can be possibility of disruption, there are many more opportunities for growth or have a business that can have an impact and that can grow quicker than a traditional brick and mortar
trading.
SME type construction business. Because I believe.
And is that what your dad did? Your family?
Yeah, it's
In the same construction
yeah,
ladder thing.
we specialize in two things. One is water taps. There's innovation in water taps. You can have the sensors, I guess. So where you get your hand under it and the water taps for it. That's some kind of innovation.
Or how the water flows. If the gaps are tiny enough.
Funny story. We tried a product which was sustainable. Okay.
A sustainable water tap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll tell you what it did, right? So the water tap, if you ever wash your hands, most people have a habit to just open it like full. Like you will not open halfway or 25%. You'll just open it completely. So this water tap had a ticker in it, so it would force you to have three fixed position, like open a little, open.
Oh, so there's more friction when
Yeah,
you're trying to
so
open it.
yeah, exactly. The product didn't work. People hated it. People just wanted to open their water tap at full speed without any effort.
People are spoiled.
Yeah, they
That-
want the water flowing.
Wait, so is that why you went into the masters? I think you did masters in some agriculture stuff, right?
No, my master's was in environmental technology. Technology not in the sense of mobile phones, but like the Greek was technology that kind of helps solve a problem. So we would discuss larger issues like climate change, environmental degradation, and then try to work with technologies and solutions that can solutions not only in the field of engineering, but solutions in from a policy perspective, from a law perspective.
Just
From
general
legal
environment.
needs,
It's
from
not just
environment.
farming. It's just
Yeah,
like
general. So I specialize in water and energy systems.
Okay. Wait, you mentioned before that you started an internship at Vegitech.
Yeah. So yeah, it was weird because how I got into hydroponics or vertical farming is by watching a YouTube video, and this was a random YouTube video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, go on.
No, I'm just saying like, I feel like many people our age just struggle with finding their passion. So like that's what I'm curious. Like, I guess that's why I'm also talking to startups to see and young entrepreneurs in a sense that how did you fall into this passion? What did you do for it? Just to help like the viewers out there also who are like trying to figure that out.
So
Yeah, I mean, passion, right? So when I watched the video the first time, it was just it was very amusing. Like
Who's the YouTuber?
it was a Vice video, if I'm not sure, and they were talking about the world's largest vertical farm, which is in New Jersey.
Oh no, that's
Aerofresh.
and
Aerofarm, sorry.
Aerofresh is the guy in Abu Dhabi.
it says
Is that? I thought Abu Dhabi.
no, it
No,
says
no, get it. So
Okay.
yeah, Aerofarms. And I
so
was
keep
there.
facing the camera.
It doesn't matter.
I was gonna ask Josefa how we were looking, but then you were talking, so I didn't want to disrupt us.
I think it doesn't matter, yeah. But anyways, so that was the video, and then along the same time, Melam and me, we were both interested in hydroponics, and we used to be in the
Who's Melam for the
Melam.
for our billions of viewers? Like
Yeah, so Melam is the founder of the second largest vertical farm in the UAE.
Bro, it's the largest, bro.
Second
It's the
largest,
largest, bro.
If this podcast was
Was a few months back.
a month ago, it would be the
largest.
largest.
Right now,
it's
the second largest. Emphasis on the second. Yeah, but anyways, yeah. So we used to have a lot of discussions on hydroponics, but again, I was in mechanical, so I didn't give much importance to it. Once I was done with uni and Hatem, I think came back to UAE about 6 months before I graduated, around that time. And at that point, Hatem's cousin Sultan, who is a mechatronics engineer, who also came in a podcast recently, just
Oh, his first ever podcast.
Yeah.
He's my next guest, by the way. If you're watching, next week or after.
I thought you were not doing many Modulas back to back.
I mean, he's in the lineup.
He's in the lineup.
In my mind. In my
Right,
mind.
Yeah, so he had joined Vegitech, where he was, helping out with projects related to robotics, how it's implemented into farming. And then Hatem joined Vegitech as well. So at that point, Hatem and we talked about it, and he said that it would be a good time for me to be also, because I was not doing anything at that point. So I joined in, and I was always interested in hydroponics. I just didn't give it much attention. Once I did that, it was a good learning
What
experience.
interested you? I guess I think what made you interested in this? Sorry.
But the first time I saw it, it was just because it was different. It was different to what I knew about agriculture, what I thought about what agriculture was. I didn't know anything about agriculture at that point. And then when I saw this, it seemed something completely out of the world.
I mean, I'm assuming your perception of agriculture was like the general farmer
Yeah,
who has that
farming.
tractor and he's like
Exactly.
plowing the
So
plants and
that
stuff.
was the thing that was, and then when this started, like, okay, this is something that I can look into, and I can, and again, what I thought at that point was it was such a new niche over here. It was a growing market. So it had the biggest opportunities as well. So that's why I got into it. And yeah, it was just
And then-
there was a journey into this field.
And then from Vegitech, you guys partnered up and started Grow Up. But like my question is, I've also known Murza for a long time, and for many years he's been trying to look for a partner, as a business partner.
So
Also
yeah.
life partner, he's finally found one. But in terms of business partners, I wanted to know like what qualities were you looking for in one? Because you had many ideas. You wanted to do paper manufacturing, cardboard. There were many phases of Murza's passion and ambition. So I know that
See,
he finally found a partner. Like what were the
I said it wasn't finding any qualities or such. It just because we worked at we knew each other. We've been friends for many years now, and I think that's most of the businesses that start as a partnership start like that, as a friendship. So like a lot of people ask how they're working with a friend. I think that's just general. That's how normal partnerships start. And it was similar over here. We were working on the same thing. We were working there in Vegitech. We were working on some education project at that point. Working, how to implement farming into educational sector, and
To schools and
into
colleges
schools and
and
colleges.
have like programs.
And you're still doing it, right?
Yeah, we still
I saw recently you did a office.
We did for PwC.
Okay.
So we did a seminar on how to grow mathematics for that. So actually the story is funny how we ended up working together. So the company that we were working for kind of got acquired, and then it got taken over by another firm.
Lucky
Right.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say about my time in Vegitech, or both of our time, is we learned a lot. Right. So the company originally started with it's a startup. So you work a lot. You do kind of everything. You're in different departments. And
Hands-on, very
hands-on. You
Yeah.
learn a lot. You get to meet interesting people and form partnerships. Instead of have suppliers, you have partners. Right.
It's the switch in mentality.
Yeah, in mentality. You want to work together, grow together. So it kind of ended up getting acquired by the Saudi firm who taking it from people, planet and profit, turned it into profit and profit. So kind of for many reasons the core team that was there started to leave so it kind of that pushed us as well, like what's next, because we kind of like what we're doing. There's a lot of opportunity for growth. Customers, we had some customers as well at that time, and some partners that, as I said before. So it just felt like the right time where we can take this opportunity now, which would be like a bad thing, right? Because things are changing, and kind of get into a venture of our own. And it wasn't like we were still, while we were getting this recruit, while we were doing it, we were not sure that if we are starting a company.
Because how we just randomly one day like, okay, we have to. It wasn't even we thinking, okay, we have to start somewhere. We just started.
Actually, I'll tell you how it started. So there's another.
I don't know how much this will help.
No, I don't think. We'll have to call
Yeah,
Switch
Stop the
locations,
delay.
yeah.
wait, let me also on the AC.
I'll call you. That's all.
Yeah. I don't feel like the AC is on.
We'll cut that, or you will not cutting anything.
I'll edit it according to my
Yeah.
liking.
Also, because I think like a middle ground, because podcast based earlier,
Yeah.
I think the story is making sense to us, but to a listener, it needs to be
Ah,
more.
me, I think
because we
one
are
more thing,
bouncing
inside
from, like
there.
maximum. from point to point. No?
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of confusion.
It's very random.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
It has to be more structured.
I think, but like right now we can't do anything. It's just
It's just one.
for maybe.
What you next time.
I think maybe when you listen to it, you'll understand more of how we can.
Yeah. Oh, so the thing is, what we are not is designers. We suck at design. So we kind of got understood that we are not good at marketing. Like actually we have become better at marketing over time. Let me know what works, what doesn't work. But the way we think is very engineer-esque. Right? So that's why we hired a firm to kind of do the design work for us, and her name was Gina, and she is the founder of Gary Cooper.
But before that, we actually made a website on our own.
On Shopify.
On Shopify, we made it on our own because again we didn't know. Gina came in later, like a month or two later.
Month or two.
Yeah, and by then,
And Gina is your.
So we have known Gina from our time at Vegitech, the
Okay.
startup. So she was managing their social media accounts and marketing for them, and so we had a relationship with her. And then when we are starting our venture, we asked Gina to join us for our company. So we made a Shopify website. Funny enough, the website was not for agriculture products. It was consumer based because we wanted to start generating revenue. So that's how we got into plants, because we thought plants, if the market for is X amount, the market for landscaping and plants is 5X in the Middle East at least. And to run any business, you need revenue coming in, any kind of revenue. The revenue not necessarily
Cash flow.
Cash flow. So that's how we. So for about a month or 2 months, we were doing this website thing, not knowing if it will work or not.
E-commerce.
E-com mostly. And then we spoke to Gina because she had the design eye. We knew her already, and we got her on board, and she designed our company logo.
yeah.
And that's where we kind of knew this is happening.
Yeah,
Because the
I
logo.
think, right. As soon as the logo came in, that's like okay, you know what? Now we have a company. Because
The
it
logo
changed a
was
lot,
like the first child that made you pennies.
yeah. No, and
Not the trade license, not getting our first customer, our first sale. It was the logo that kind of.
anyway, the logo hit me hard. Like I really, like we both really love the logo, and because again Gina, has that design thinking, right? She had integrated a story within the logo, which it was like
What is the story?
so. Basically, our logo is a bunch of dandelions, and dandelions are known to fly and spread a lot. So that's what she integrated into our business, that we're going to spread.
That's
So
great,
we
yeah.
should pop our logo up.
Yeah.
The O in grow up is the dandelion, but because this is my I like it so much, because the company was created
During COVID.
and the dandelion logo looks like the corona.
The corona,
The virus,
the
the
virus.
picture of the virus.
So the virus also spread quite a bit. So either way, it's a win-win.
Oh my god.
But yeah.
So then you would say that I think Gina made your business. You guys are just working for her.
So along that time, I plants, we started off without knowing any of the plants, like nothing, zero. But now that plants have gotten onto me, I like plants. I like plants
A lot.
Yes.
We can grow plant now. We
Yeah,
have
we can.
green thumb. Like people tell me they don't have green thumb. I'm like, you haven't killed
They have what?
They don't have a
Green thumb.
Green thumb, okay. Yeah.
Right. So I tell them you haven't killed enough plants to get a green thumb.
How many have you killed?
Oh, I still kill them.
You will kind of figure. You see, it's basically 3 things, or maybe 2, or 3.
I think the most
Light
important
and
is water.
Light.
Water is the most important. How much you water will determine if your plants are growing
Yeah.
healthy or not.
Yeah. How like the proper amount, having the soil. The other thing we hate is people ask us how many ml do I put. There's no answer for that. It really depends on what the ambient temperature is. It depends what the size of the pot is, what type of grow media is inside. Is it soil or is it coco peat? So rather than know how many mLs, you should learn to understand the moisture of the soil.
So basically what I normally say is just stick your finger in. If there's a lot of clumpiness, then don't water it. If it's dry, then water it. That's
So there's no set frequency like once a day, every morning.
No, it's plants like any regular routine. So if you're watering them once a week or twice a week, and it's good for you, so you remember. If you have 10 plants, you don't want to be you would rather go on a schedule.
So yeah, you just stick to the schedule. You know it once, you do it maybe for 2-3 weeks, and then you get it. Okay, yeah, now I have to water it on a Monday, then I water it next Monday, next Monday, something like that. But yeah, that's how the Grow Up website came along, and then
Then we slowly realized that the market for e-commerce is not an exciting
Right.
as once you get the packaging right, the logistics right, and
I think the excitement is in the design and packaging and the logistics, like how you're going to deliver it.
no, in the sense, the excitement is when you grow, like the business itself.
yeah, in terms of for take like small example, like we were getting one order once a day at 30 days without orders, but now we have a consistent flow of orders coming in. So that kind of business is on its own. In some ways, it's self-sustaining.
Or like,
So we got the opportunity then to move into things that we like more. It's like doing designing
Services.
landscapes and services for farms.
it's like consulting, it's the consulting part of your industry, your field.
Right.
So think of the way we started business is we had two goals. One is the business sustains itself, generates revenue.
The e-commerce bit.
The whole business.
The whole business, okay, yeah, but yeah.
So we wanted revenue coming in, so we were flinging the other one.
Yeah, and see
Like
what's
business idea, another one.
Yeah.
Like e-com, let's try.
Right.
Landscaping, let's
Let's
try.
try. So what's sticking right now?
All of it. Like, actually, we're getting e-commerce is now it's stable.
It's like a bread and butter.
No,
It's
it's good. E-commerce is going well.
it generates consistent revenue.
Revenue, yeah.
For the
Consistent
business is starting out, unless you have a thing in your mind, right? There are things that you'd rather do. It's like more. One is we are very young, so our insurance premium is very high. So people who want to invest with us or getting public money
Yeah.
is difficult for us to, because first of all people ask way too much equity for the small amount of money which we would organically go to it. Second is we really, if we had that moonshot as an idea, we'd stop of all of our other kind of activities and focus on the moonshot. But we are figuring things out as we go. Like a year into it, we're still figuring.
Wait, how long has it been?
A year.
2021 start. I think that's when we started developing on the
March.
website. Development
April.
on the website. Yeah.
May. Last year, May.
Yeah, last year May. Yeah, May was when I think the website launched.
Yeah, but like you can see, like the real business start from Jan this year or November last year.
Actually, yeah, Jan this year because Feb is the first big project we did.
Yeah.
So, and that was along the time where we started, because again, what happened was we switched on Shopify because we were not able to integrate our service pages because we wanted to move towards service line as well. And so we moved to WooCommerce. That was again a 3-month journey.
From WooCommerce.
Yeah, we to WordPress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Website development is a thankless job.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably have. I think I'll call Kusai one of these days or ask him about website development.
Right. Yeah.
And how bad it is, or
How difficult it is to get something
right.
A feature,
Yeah,
feature,
feature.
for example.
So then it's more worth it to get someone in house, right? As a website or like a.
No, you will not be able to. So while running an e-com thing, right, what we have realized is one guy doesn't have all the expertise, right? There are that group of people who run Google Ads, who run paid advertisement, there are people who specialize in SEO, there are people who specialize in website development. In website development, there are people who specialize in different softwares.
UI, UX. There's a lot that goes in
Yeah.
it, and everyone has so it's always better working with a team of people.
Right.
So a agency will give you all of these. A good agency will give you all of these kind of in house. And once you have reached a certain scale, then it makes sense to have one person going
in house.
in house.
Yeah.
Or because you need at least 2-3 people with similar skill sets to.
Yeah. But that was how we went. We wanted to get into services, and then because a lot of the times that we got our service contracts were through our e-commerce website. So because a lot of people were, when
So you're SEO.
yeah, through our SEO, through our Google Ads, so people would search for plants, they'd land onto our page, they'd call us, and they would say that we don't want one or two plants. We want
A
to
solution.
visual the landscape, or we want you to provide plants for complete office building, resort, etc. Stuff like that. And that's when we saw the potential in this business in a way that we didn't see it before. So because we started this GrowHub.ae as a e-commerce platform,
Right.
consumer focused platform, and now we were seeing the commercial side of it, and that's when we thought, okay, fine, we have to publicize our services more.
Like it's not enough to just do D2C in terms of
in this industry, I don't think so. Yeah.
It's not like you saturate yourself. There are already one good thing about plants is it's a hassle to deliver, right? So there's like Amazon doesn't want to do it because the plants are delicate. They are like hot shapes, like they're tall and they are broad and they
soil.
are outdoors.
Yes.
The soil is dirty. So Amazon is like, oh, it's way above our pay grade.
It's not worth
It's
it.
not worth the hassle. So it's an interesting field where there's relatively less competition in anything like perfumes. You have like 10 companies doing it.
Many have entered the industry.
Yeah, for e-commerce, for other things like electronics, it's insane. You don't want to be competing with Amazon,
Right.
Noon, PG,
No.
Emacs, all of these like companies. But plants, let's say like even in fresh food sector like Gibson's. So I still don't think there's like a Gibson's version of a company in the plant industry for from my e-com focus.
It's difficult to understand because you're doing many things.
Yeah.
Like when you're seeing Gibson's of your like industry, what
So Gibson's
fraction of the industry?
Gibson's is a company that provides groceries, fresh foods, and vegetables. I'm talking about an e-com equivalent of Gibson's for plants.
So no one's doing it at that scale.
Yeah, no one's now. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Like they are industry leaders right now. I'm just talking about e-com and plants because we are doing other businesses as well. But that's not.
I mean, how do you keep? Wait, I have another question.
Fine.
No, there's also something I wanted to ask you. This is off topic. by the way. When you were shopping for Melon's suit, right?
Right.
You said back then that you don't like read self-help books.
Yeah.
Is that still true? And why? Like, I'm just curious. I've wanted to ask you this for a
Oh,
long time.
what? I didn't get you.
He doesn't read self-help books. Like we had a conversation where I asked him what book he's reading, and then I must have brought like a random self-help book like How to Sleep or like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's my I'm more of a curious person. My preference in book is first of all I don't have time to read a lot, but if I'm reading something, there's this interesting quote where you kind of get your knowledge through a lattice of things, like in the sense like I'm not an physician, but I kind of like to understand how things work in the universe. Right? I like to read a lot about history. I'm fascinated by history in terms of history that kind of determines a contingent path, like why things happen and what reasons happen. So first of all, I find that more interesting. The other thing with self-help book is you have to implement it as
Yeah, I think no, self-help book, I think it's more subjective, right? Like as in, not everyone can relate to what's written in, because I don't read, I've never read a self-help book myself, so I
I've
don't
read
know
one, if you know Robin Sharma.
I don't know.
Robin Sharma, I've heard of it.
I just remember his one quote, this is a nice quote, it's everyday life, people talk about destiny and not destiny and it's determined. And his thing is, everyday life kind of gives you a window of opportunity and how you react to it kind of determines your destiny. So it's like best of both worlds. I just remember this one quote from this random self-help book that I read years ago.
What does the book kind of do? Like, what was it?
I don't remember anymore. I just remember this quote. I don't know. I don't have an answer actually. I just don't enjoy reading self-help books.
No, because it's just a craze nowadays. Like,
I
I think, I mean, it's not based on any research, but I think it's like the highest grossing
Books.
book category.
Is it?
I feel like it is. I feel like, yeah, I would assume so because everyone's trying to improve
I
themselves
think people are trying to hope that they'll read and
Yeah,
they get
I think
and get inspired.
Yeah, it's okay. Because, they are good at self. Have you read one recently that you recommend?
I don't read. I would rather like listen to podcasts of people explain the book. Thing is, when the authors want to promote the book, they come to all these podcasts, they like
Right.
speak about it. Or another thing I do is because I don't want to read a full book, I go on YouTube and then I type
Summary.
XYZ book summary, and then there's a guy who draws it out for me, and then I take the key lessons from that, and then if I want to implement it, then I do it.
I don't think it's the same though, right? Reading a book gets you involved in, like, reading a summary of a book. There are many apps that do that, Blinkist and
I mean, Cliff Notes, like
yeah.
school days.
I don't think it's the same. Like because I think for a person to kind of grab their head around the concept, even books like how it works is they'll talk about what they're going to talk about, they talk about what they're supposed to talk about, and then they summarize what they just spoke about. So if you reading it, you being in that surrounding for 8, 9, 10 hours or how long you take, that kind of in self-help book I think this would be more true, and that kind of gets the thing into you. Right?
No, it makes sense, right? Because when you're reading a summary, you just get an overview of what's happening in the book.
You're not involved and you're not attached to, you don't know why the author said it. He says, for example, wake up at 6 p.m. Like, you don't understand what's the logic behind it.
That's a summary of it.
Yeah.
That's an overview. Okay, you have to do something.
But why should you do it? It's not explained in the summary.
Yeah.
They explain it, but it's not like
It's not
driven
driven
home.
home.
Yeah, it's not driven home. It's like emphasis. It's not like in history and in psychology. Like my favorite book is A Man's Search for Meaning. It was written by this guy called Frank Riel, like a very small book. You can read it in a day or two. And it's like it's about he was in the Nazi camp in Auschwitz, and he's like when people had nothing, like absolutely no clothing, no food, terrible living conditions, and even in that kind of surrounding, they still found meaning to live. So you get involved with the author, you understand the story, and a summary of someone summarizing his life will have no meaning to me.
I think psychology is different. That you need to be immersed in
Right.
the psychology of the mind.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're not going to understand where the author is coming from.
Yeah.
I guess self-help books are based on psychology, but I don't. I guess would you call self-help books kind of psychology? Is that true?
I mean, I think they are related, right? There must be a relation.
But I think self-help books are based on personal experience.
Yeah, but I think they'll add some kind of psychological factor into it. It seem okay.
Actually. But yeah, you're saying
No, like I kind of want to get back to the whole
business.
the business part, but I guess something I had in mind for this podcast also is how would you find a business partner? Like that's something I hinted to before, but like I know you were looking for like
See, when I was looking
you found a
for
friend also, but like if someone is out there looking to start something, but they also need support or like they need a business partner, like what are the qualities that you look for in one?
I think when that happens, right, I think you'll have to just see that if you don't have to, your goals don't have to be the same. I'm just saying that your goals don't have to be the same, but if it's a thing that interests both of you, and if you both know that what you want to do with it, and if you both align with that, then okay, yeah. But over here, it was just because, and to be honest, when we started, it didn't feel like it was a business thing at all. It's just like, okay, we started a website together.
Side hustle or like a hanging out.
So I
and
think
making money.
one good thing is I think what helps in finding a business partner is when I'm thinking about combinations of who I'm. It is some sort of shared history, like you were in school with them, or you played cricket with them, or some sort of you were in university together.
Some acquaintance.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's how you kind of know a person. If you getting to meet someone new from a perspective of being partners with them, that trust doesn't get formed. Like, what is his motive? What are your motives?
Then how do you manage your goals? Like if you have a different goal and the business partner has a
I
different
think,
goal.
no, I'm just saying
And has it
that.
happened with you guys?
Yeah, sure in the sense it does, but it is. I don't think what if you have a business partner, the one main thing you should have in common with him or her is success in the business that your partner has.
Yeah.
If that is not aligned, then
I think yeah. I mean, if you both have like, for example,
personally,
if I want to do something and he wants to do something, maybe they both come in the same category of the business. If we can somehow find success in that and we both agree to it, then I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
the thing is, yeah, what he said. Your personal goals can be separate, but the business goals should be more or less.
So, for example,
aligned.
if let's say I want to invest in property, I'm not going to do it with the business money, right? Because that's a different thing altogether. It's like, yeah, if my goal is to invest in property, I'll have to
No,
do
it
it
could be
separately.
like
I think that's
that's
your
big.
savings.
No, yeah, exactly. But that on a separate topic, it would be like, for example, if we have to invest in a property for the business.
Then
Then we have to talk about like
The profits that the business is making, how do you
or
reinvest
hear
that?
the pros and cons of the place. Maybe we have two different places in mind. He likes one, I like the other. Then we have to both discuss about which one would be better, why it's more suitable.
usually it's just long discussions about the same topic. Like we have been trying to look for a place to build our offices and a facility where it's like a research lab that generates revenue. So
That's a complete. We want to create an
What do you mean a
experience
research
center.
lab?
like it's a place that we want to experiment on all the crazy ideas that we have.
So it's like you're taking the Apple store, but like making that for plants.
That would be
So,
crazy.
yeah,
But
that-
I hate that analogy so overused.
Why?
Bloody Tesla and Apple analogy is used everywhere.
This is
No, but Apple has mastered that. Like,
Yeah,
it's a
I know.
playground. You go, you see the iPhone,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
have
yeah.
fun with it.
basically,
sit on the sofa.
maybe like a small walk in the park inside the store,
Yeah.
and then you say, oh, I like this plant, something like that, And the thing is, I really want to move a bit towards design as well. Like, we're doing the technical bit where we have a good amount of technology that we can implement into whether it be landscaping or farming.
Yeah.
I want there to be a design aspect where people come and have that wow experience. Oh, what am I looking at? What is that? What does that do? So we want to implement design as well into the whole concept.
Good design.
Good design. That's cool.
You're moving up the value chain, right? So the basic thing is selling someone a plant.
Yeah.
Now you
Which
sell.
you're doing through the e-commerce side already.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So now the other thing is how do you add value? You add value to the product. It's just
Yeah.
You package it like that.
Apple.
Yeah. You provide them options to upgrade, like a bigger plant or like a rarer variety, and that's like you sell them a pot then. You go even up the value chain and then you turn it into like a with excellent packaging into a an end consumer product, or then you turn it into bundles and then sets, and then like, you can move up vertically or you can move broader in terms of increasing your product offering.
And then other thing is, I think we also, although we have these two separate lines, where there's plant and landscape, and then there is ag tech, food and ag tech, we have divisions in those two. Like, we want to focus. I think there has been some focus on trading as well, and then projects as well. So we want to normal businesses. We want to structure it such a way that our trading would be a day-to-day line of revenue, where the margins are not that high,
Yeah.
but we still have that recurring revenue.
Which then you can reinvest.
Right, and then the projects don't come that easily, and they take time to materialize because there are months and months of
Tender
negotiating and all that. So that, and then but when the project lands, they have good margins in it. So we want to focus on both, but trading would be a day-to-day line of revenue, while projects would be maybe a big project monthly basis, which have a good revenue generation, which has high margins.
We have to grow our team.
Right.
Yeah.
There's only so much.
Right.
Two people can.
Yeah. so
Wait,
we-
do you have other employees?
Technically, three of them employees,
Yeah.
but then there are, like I said, there are groups of indie workers. So there are people who do SEO work for us.
So outsource some of the.
Outsource, right.
And there are people who do marketing.
But definitely, we want to grow, and this is only possible when we have a good team aligned with us. So we're doing that as well.
I think the hardest thing for startups is the hiring process.
Oh,
How do you manage that?
oh my God! There's in terms of the other thing is even now like we are pivoting in hiring. Hiring is a whole different thing. I'm already like having a right person to kind of work with it. But also the other thing is we kind of don't want we're trying out many things here and there are many more innovative ideas that we have in terms of tissue culture, in terms of algae cultivation, and we kind of pitch it to our big clients sometimes, like we working with a project with Arada. So like we try to get other things also.
And you want to pitch high ticket items as well, so you don't like miss out on
The thing is, even when we're doing these things, we never like, as in they're high ticket, but we don't think of it that way. We just want to have this kind of technology integrated within our business as well.
Yeah.
So making it a USP, like okay, if someone comes in, what do we are?
How do we So that's the other fear, like we don't want it to turn into another SME.
Right.
We want it to be scalable, we want it to be a like there's a thin difference
Yeah.
between being a startup and being a SME. Right?
Yeah.
Once you can kind of project what your in and out is.
What's the what's the difference?
SME you don't
I think in this, what he's trying to say is like there's a stagnant growth. Like
Yeah.
at one point you're like, okay, there's no new idea coming
You
in.
plateau.
you plateau, yeah.
You plateau,
So SMEs are where you can kind of, your month on month revenue is not X of, it's not, you don't go by magnitude, right? You kind of have this consistency where you got one farm and then you kind of expand the farm slowly, or you get more product mixes in, and then that's your, like, a guy coming outside will look at your company, will look at the balance sheet and will tell you tomorrow it's worth X amount.
Yeah.
Because in a startup, it has to be like, continuously moving, you're doing innovative stuff, you're creating something proprietary.
So I guess the growth has to be exponential for a startup.
Not only that,
This is my definition at least, I don't think it's
I don't care. Like
yeah.
I just want to know your thoughts on like,
Yeah.
are you moving to the next step of SME now, or are you still in the startup phase?
I sometimes fear that we are moving towards it because to be a startup, I don't know what Murtuza thinks on this one either, but we have to specialize on something that only we do. Right? If I'm doing plant breeding, even in that you can have a proprietary patented variety of a plant that you distributing, but it's a distribution deal, right?
It's
Like distributing other people's technology. It's not something proprietary that you create on your own. You engineer it out.
Yeah. It's not a USP. Like that's what people are looking for.
USP can be. USP is not the word because the USP can be a good business model. Can be a USP, right?
Or having the agency itself can be the USP.
Yeah.
Because many people don't have it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not your product. And I can get agency for we are speaking to a Israeli company that specializes. They want to come into the Middle East market, and they're excited to work with us because we have the plants. But this is their product in the end, and we are the bridge to the plants.
Right.
But it's not really that. It's not our product.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I get it. Like his thing is okay. Maybe when we have our own proprietary thing, we have our own proprietary product that we're selling to the market, and then I think maybe raising funding on it is that something that comes in a startup as well.
Yeah, so it's it grows so fast that you can't really
External funding.
some,
I think of it a bit different way, like because I know startups that are completely integrated. They have products from different companies, but they put it all together.
Right.
You can. So I could think of myself like our like GrowHub as that at the moment, that we want to bring in products because we don't have our own proprietary product at the moment, but we want to be integrated of multiple different products that are unique and that are not readily available.
How do you have your own product in this field? Like, if you think about perfumery, you make your own perfume, you mix it, that's your product, that's your brand. How does it work in this?
So both it can be like a physical hardware product where you have a spin on the irrigation timer. So that's one part. Or the whole farm, right? The farm currently that we have is the industry way of building an vertical farm with vertical racking there. So if one can be the design of the structure itself or the whole farm, the other thing can be software. So the software that kind of controls the light, the water.
That's going to the tech side.
Tech product. It's not a product need not be a physical product. It can get
Software.
software.
I think
I
that's.
know we not into we physical products.
I feel like if it's a software or service, it's more scalable.
Yeah, it is.
So that's what I think. Once you reach the plateau phase, you need to find something that's scalable. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep.
You have to find new things anyways. Like,
Yeah.
like you have to find new things to integrate. For example, even if you have a software, you have to know how to update the software, like monthly basis, daily basis, whatever.
You need to have that kind of expertise on it as well. Right?
So
We can have the vision of what the software is supposed to do, but we have to have people to build the software.
Right.
Because we are not the
technically
Software engineers.
Yeah.
So I think the scaling part comes everywhere. Like it's you can never not scale a business.
So I'm impressed. It's been an hour, almost.
Flying by? Or was it
Huh?
flying by? I think it's flying by.
The thing is, I might keep this whole. I might not cut it because I wanna show my.
Like the true experience
Yeah, like I wanna make it.
with the whole
Yeah.
like ladder behind and
No. He doesn't want to sit for 1 hour editing
Oh,
or
that is the true part.
No, I'm still gonna edit it because the whole point of this podcast as well is so I can make like mini pieces of content like clips
Okay.
and then circulate them on different platforms.
So the movie thing is gonna be one of the clips, right?
I'm gonna like repost your guys' like thoughts of like some business stuff on LinkedIn and then have like a caption on it and then ask for their like I'm trying to build a engagement as well. Yeah. Outside of the podcast, I want to build a conversation as well.
You know what helps?
What?
Doing giveaways.
I don't know money.
Can't do
No,
that.
it's like you can give away silly things.
Yeah, you can give away
Like
product from where we're sitting today.
And let's give away the first.
Oh, by the way, I'm not sponsored by
Bargain.
Oh shit! Maybe sign the bottle and they
We should do a sponsorship for them.
Yeah.
And then send the clip to Barbecue. And then ask them to PR
payers for the tag.
Then you have nothing to lose.
I actually don't mind. But
Pomegranate is the best part.
Yes, it is.
undisputed.
Hands down.
Hands down.
I don't drink anything other than pomegranate. Like I don't even try it.
The issue is the packing between pomegranate and raspberry is so similar.
Oh.
That I've got food so many
Yes,
times,
yes.
I feel like throwing up.
Yeah, because you turn it always to see the pomegranate on the.
But sometimes it's in Arabic, so you have to turn it back around to see the English pomegranate.
Ah, yeah.
Is it in Arabic?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Anar. Rumman, bro. Like, come on.
Arabic.
There's one word, rumman. That's all you have to remember now.
Yeah, that was fun. In Arabic.
No, rumman.
I guess before we end the segment, the first episode, I wanna know what advice you would give yourself when you were just starting. Like if you had to go back a year and talk to your guys self and see the whole situation, like what advice would you give to yourself when like if you're starting it again?
Not move from Shopify.
Or is it too soon?
It's too soon. I think we're still in the. I don't want to see hindsight yet. What business does, right? For people who are starting a business, you need to have a specific mindset. One is I would advise myself to work even more. I still prefer to work more than I do currently. The other thing is what it really does for people who are looking for this is the reason I am in business is it gives you that freedom, right? To be in control of what you're doing.
Makes sense.
It's just that peace of mind. Also, what does money do, right? It gives you freedom of you being able to do what you want at whatever period in time.
Yeah.
So there are specific set of people who would get into venture, who would get into business for themselves, who would want to start something, and you have to be that person. Like there's no one else going to come to you and telling you that you have to start a business. That never works. Like it has to come from. I really think it has to come from within. Yeah, within. So you know. Like there's no one. You don't need me to give you advice, or you just have to do it.
I think this is what the biggest issue our generation is facing, is that from what I feel like, the older generation is calling us lazy for not
Putting in enough work.
in something that you're not interested in. So then I feel like once you find that interest, you go into like fifth year and you just like keep working.
I mean,
Doing it is all right. If we are talking about creating a business, it would never work. Like let's see, I started off. We started off as a e-com company,
Yeah.
but we started it as something. Now you can always evolve. Like 1 year, next year we might not be in that business. I don't think we will not be in the business, but
Or maybe
I'm
it
just
might not
giving you an
be-
example.
It might not be the main business. We might have pivoted in, and this would be something that works in autopilot. Actually, that was the aim. Like to
Yeah.
have the e-commerce be on autopilot.
Yeah, but
Is
we
it?
have spent a lot of time talking about it because there are many other cooler projects that we can talk about now.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope to also get better with this.
I think maybe,
the
maybe
podcasting skills.
because we are right now developing the farm, so our maybe next session could be in the farm.
In the farm.
itself.
I want you guys to come back and like keep remarketing your stuff. It'll be interesting.
Definitely.
Or hopefully a year from now we'll ask us money to come on the podcast because we have so much.
No. I think for you guys it'll be free. Always.
Free?
Ah,
Oh,
yes.
First guest.
First guess. No.
And I heard first podcast.
First podcast,
Yes,
first
yes,
guest.
first guest.
We lost our podcast virginity, guys.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So
Yeah.
no advice, I guess, from us.
No advice?
Yeah, to myself, work a bit more.
I mean, I think about it a lot. Like I would, when I'm done with something, for example, when I was done with my mechanical, I was like, okay, you know what, I want to go back and not choose mechanical. But when you think about it later, you understand that you wouldn't be in the position you are if you hadn't gone through that journey. Now I know it's very philosophical, which is not like me, but it is the truth. I wouldn't be here in this podcast with you
By God's grace.
if I hadn't chosen mechanical, if I hadn't got then a job or
Yeah.
so I think
Then, so do you
You can
have
learn-
any regrets in that case?
regrets isn't.
In general?
No man, we are too young to have any great regrets.
No, I mean I don't even regrets.
Nah, I don't think you can have. I don't think you should have about what you studied and.
And the thing I think about it that why should I have any regret? Because I can't change the past. It's gone now. So I have to work towards the future. I will regret now that I'm not working towards what I'm doing later.
If you don't put the hard work that he wants to put in. Like he would have wished himself to put in before. That's a possible regret.
Because see what happens is once you have made 50 mistakes and you've gotten it right, then you can say, oh fuck, it was so easy to begin with. Why
Yeah.
did I do this? I should have just done this. So
But the mistakes help
Yeah, I
you get
do.
there.
But if I had made them quicker and if I had more of them and faster and so you get what I'm
It's not even saving on time that way. It's just why did I go through the hassle when I could do it in this way? But that's not the point. The point
But
is that
I
you have
don't
to
think we have
work.
many regrets. Like in terms of we have not made a mistake where we have fucked up so bad that we lost a customer or we have lost a source of revenue or
Yes,
it's
we
just
haven't
more-
we haven't gone through that yet. That's true.
And also, and it's and sometimes I feel I have to say something important. Then while starting the sentence, I think it's not important, so I just stop. I just stop.
I don't keep this raw. This podcast, I think I will keep it raw because there's too much going on.
Yeah. Because if you start cutting it, it will lose.
I think, and then there's the issue because we've talked about so much that if you cut it, you won't be able to connect all of these
Even now,
things
people
together.
will not be able to.
Yeah, even now it's gonna be.
Next time you have to let the person explain it for 5 minutes so that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the question should come once the previous topic has completely.
Yeah.
And then you have to think, you said something from that topic. I want to ask something.
Let make us your partners in the podcast.
Yeah.
We will start coming to the second and third one, and then by the end of it, this whole table will be filled with people.
And then we'll be like, the 13 chairs of TSC.
We'll do a large scale podcast.
A TSC podcast.
Yes.
No, the other thing about podcast, I don't think you can have more than 3 people.
It gets you can have 5, 6, but I also don't have any equipment right now. I'm thinking of buying mics and stuff. So
I think
I need.
I don't
some
think
stuff.
you can have many people because for a person who is listening for the first time, they do not know our voice, they do not know the story of the person, and it just creates a lot of chaos.
I need to introduce you guys slowly.
Yeah.
First you guys, then I think next will be Kuse or.
Who do you have lined up for the next one? Like
I'm thinking Motagar because he started his agency.
Fitness.
Vienna?
Huzefa worked with him.
Just started off.
I think You guys are done?
Yeah, we're done.
Almost done.
Yeah, so I think we're done. Like,
We're done.
yeah, like,
Bye bye, guys.
Bye. See
Yeah.
you. See you
Peace.
next time. See you.
and a special shout out to Huzefa. Thanks Wesley for having us. This bomb shelter. I appreciate the love.
How to take a piss now? I used to run. That's your bathroom.
Avisa.
1 hour.